Welcome to the Wonder Lab, the place where curiosity meets science. Today, we embark on a journey into one of humanity's most intimate and essential questions. Why do humans have sex? What drives this desire, and what role does it play in our minds and bodies? From the secrets hidden in our brains to the biological and psychological benefits that shape our very existence, we will uncover the science behind desire, attraction, and connection. Join us as we explore the hidden truths about human sexuality, the profound impact it has on health, emotions, and relationships, and why, deep down, it is more than just a need. It is a cornerstone of life itself. Asterisk, since the dawn of humanity, the question of desire has intrigued minds across cultures, generations, and continents. Sex, at its core, is more than a physical act. It is a language spoken by the body, the mind, and even the subconscious. From the moment humans became aware of their own bodies, from the first sparks of attraction in adolescence to the complex bonds of adulthood, the urge to connect, to experience intimacy, has been a driving force behind our evolution deep within the human brain. A complex orchestra of chemicals and neural pathways directs the rhythm of desire. Dopamine, often called the pleasure molecule, lights up with anticipation, creating a sense of longing and reward. Oxytocin, the so-called bonding hormone, weaves invisible threads between individuals, fostering trust, attachment, and emotional closeness. Serotonin, meanwhile, shapes mood and desire, subtly guiding choices in attraction and behavior. But why do we feel this pull? Is it merely a biological imperative, or does it hold deeper psychological significance? Psychologists suggest that attraction is not a simple matter of physical preference. Early experiences, parental bonds, cultural context, and even childhood observations silently craft patterns of desire that often manifest in adulthood. These subconscious scripts determine whom we are drawn to, the traits we find appealing, and the emotional responses that accompany intimacy. Beyond the mind, sex has profound effects on the body. Scientific studies reveal that sexual activity can improve cardiovascular health, reduce stress, strengthen immunity, and even contribute to longevity. Sleep patterns improve after intimacy, tension melts away, and the intricate interplay of hormones restores balance to the nervous system. For men and women alike, these benefits extend beyond the act itself, influencing mood, mental clarity, and overall well-being. In addition, sex is a critical component of human relationships. Emotional bonds are reinforced, trust is deepened, and social connections are strengthened. The desire for intimacy is as much about connection as it is about reproduction. In evolutionary terms, humans are wired not just to survive, but to thrive in partnerships, nurturing both families and communities. Interestingly, the psychology of desire also explains why attraction can be so unpredictable. The human mind is drawn to contrasts, novelty, challenge, and even subtle danger can heighten the allure of a partner. Familiarity breeds comfort, yet mystery stimulates curiosity. These complex dynamics, invisible to the casual observer, orchestrate much of human romantic behavior, often beyond conscious understanding, from the perspectives of science, psychology, and evolution. Sex emerges not as a simple act of pleasure, but as a vital mechanism that shapes the human experience. It molds relationships, influences mental and physical health, and guides the choices we make, often before we even realize it. It is both a biological imperative and a psychological journey, bridging the gap between desire, intimacy, and survival. As we continue this exploration, we will delve deeper into the hidden mechanisms behind attraction, the unique effects on male and female physiology, and the ways in which our minds interpret, enhance, and respond to the most intimate of human experiences. Every heartbeat, every thought, every chemical signal converges in the extraordinary phenomenon we call human sexuality, a force that has guided our species through millennia, shaping not only who we are, but how we connect, love, and endure as we journey further into understanding human desire. It becomes clear that attraction is not merely a matter of physical appearance or fleeting impulse. Every choice, every glance, every subtle gesture carries with it layers of psychological complexity. From the moment of initial contact, the human brain begins a sophisticated evaluation, weighing potential partners not only for genetic fitness, but for compatibility, emotional resonance, and long-term bonding potential. Attachment theory, a cornerstone of modern psychology, offers a lens through which we can observe these interactions. From early childhood experiences, individuals develop patterns of trust, intimacy, and emotional responsiveness that echo throughout their adult relationships. Those who experienced secure attachment tend to seek balance, intimacy, and mutual understanding, whereas insecure attachment can manifest as hesitation, avoidance, or heightened neediness. These patterns silently influence desire, choice, and behavior during moments of intimacy. But desire is not entirely conscious. Subtle cues, often imperceptible, guide human attraction. The scent of a partner, facial symmetry, vocal tone, and even gestures are interpreted by the subconscious mind, triggering neural pathways that ignite fascination, comfort, or excitement. These signals, processed at speeds far faster than thought, shape our perceptions of compatibility and desirability before conscious awareness intervenes. Biological rhythms, such as circadian cycles and hormonal fluctuations, also play a significant role. Testosterone and estrogen influence libido, drive, and responsiveness, while dopamine rewards anticipation and fulfillment. Oxytocin strengthens emotional connection, deepening the sense of attachment. In combination, these chemical messengers create a feedback loop, reinforcing the behaviors that lead to both physical pleasure and psychological satisfaction. Understanding the psychological impact of sex also requires acknowledging its role in stress reduction and emotional resilience. Sexual activity stimulates the release of endorphins, natural painkillers and mood enhancers, which alleviate tension and create a sense of calm and contentment. Regular intimacy has been shown to lower cortisol levels, reducing the impact of chronic stress and promoting mental well-being. Moreover, the interplay of sex and the mind extends into social bonding and relationship maintenance. Humans are inherently social creatures, and intimate connections serve as the bedrock of trust and cooperation. Physical intimacy strengthens partnerships, fosters empathy, and builds shared experiences that reinforce social cohesion. In this sense, sex is not merely a personal act, but a fundamental mechanism for sustaining relationships and communities. Yet, desire is not always rational. Psychological phenomena such as projection, idealization, and fantasy often shape perceptions of a partner, creating an emotional narrative that blends reality with expectation. These mental constructs, sometimes unrecognized by the individual, intensify attraction, drive behavior, and even influence decision-making in subtle but powerful ways. Exploring the mind's influence on sexual behavior also brings attention to the differences between male and female psychological responses. While societal narratives often oversimplify these differences, scientific research reveals nuanced patterns. Men and women may experience, express, and interpret desire differently, influenced by both biology and cultural conditioning. Understanding these distinctions provides insight into compatibility, communication, and the dynamics of intimate relationships as we reflect on the psychological landscape of human sexuality. It becomes evident that sex is far more than a physiological act. It is an intricate dance between mind and body, driven by evolution, shaped by experience, and guided by the subconscious. Every heartbeat, every thought, and every subtle emotional response contributes to the profound complexity of desire, attraction, and intimacy. In the coming chapters, we will delve even deeper into the effects of sexual activity on the human body, exploring its physiological benefits, the ways it supports mental health, and the profound consequences of intimacy for both men and women. We will examine how societal norms and cultural perceptions influence behavior, and uncover the hidden science behind human attraction, satisfaction, and connection, a journey into the heart of desire itself. As we continue our exploration, we turn from the mind to the body, examining the profound physiological effects that intimacy exerts on the human form. Sex is not merely an act of desire. It is a natural catalyst for health, vitality, and balance. Every touch, every heartbeat, and every release of chemical signals contributes to an intricate system that supports the human body in ways both visible and unseen. The cardiovascular system responds immediately during intimacy. Heart rate rises, blood circulation increases, and blood vessels dilate, delivering oxygen and nutrients to vital organs. In this sense, sexual activity functions as a form of natural exercise, stimulating the body in a manner that enhances endurance, resilience, and overall vitality. Studies suggest that regular sexual activity is associated with improved heart health and reduced risk of cardiovascular complications. Beyond the heart, sex engages the immune system. Physical intimacy promotes the production of immunoglobulins, antibodies that protect against infections and strengthen the body's defense mechanisms. Those who experience regular intimacy often exhibit stronger resistance to common illnesses, highlighting sex not just as a source of pleasure, but as a subtle guardian of physical health. Hormonal balance is another critical aspect of sexual activity. Testosterone and estrogen influence libido, mood, and energy levels, while oxytocin fosters emotional connection and psychological stability. Prolactin, released during orgasm, contributes to feelings of satisfaction and relaxation. These hormonal dynamics create a feedback loop that nurtures both physical and emotional well-being. reinforcing the intertwined nature of mind and body. Sleep, too, is intimately connected with sexual activity. After moments of intimacy, the release of endorphins and oxytocin induces relaxation, lowering cortisol levels and facilitating restorative sleep. This natural mechanism enhances cognitive function, supports memory, and promotes emotional regulation, demonstrating that the benefits of intimacy extend far beyond the immediate experience. For men and women, the physiological benefits manifest differently, yet complement one another. In men, sexual activity supports prostate health, regulates hormone production, and strengthens cardiovascular resilience. In women, intimacy stimulates pelvic floor muscles, enhances circulation, and fosters reproductive health. Both sexes experience elevated mood, reduced stress, and a strengthened immune response, underscoring the universality of these biological rewards. The psychological implications are inseparable from these physical effects. When the body experiences pleasure, the mind interprets these signals as satisfaction, comfort, and connection. This interplay explains why intimacy reduces anxiety, alleviates depression, and strengthens emotional bonds between partners. Sex, in essence, is a natural therapy, a mechanism that restores equilibrium to the body and mind alike. As we delve deeper into these mechanisms, it becomes evident that human sexuality is an elegant synthesis of biology and psychology. Every act of intimacy, every surge of desire, and every moment of connection serves a purpose, orchestrating a complex symphony of chemical reactions, physical responses, and emotional experiences. It is a force that nurtures the individual, sustains relationships, and ultimately supports the continuation of the species in the next stages of our journey. We will explore how sex shapes long-term mental health, the unique ways in which men and women benefit, and the subtle yet profound ways that intimacy influences relationships, communication, and emotional resilience. We will uncover how the human body and mind are inherently designed to seek connection, to experience pleasure, and to thrive through intimacy, revealing the hidden science behind the act that has shaped humanity for millennia. Asterisk, beyond the physiological effects, intimacy profoundly shapes the human mind, forging connections that influence emotions, behavior, and relationships. Sex is not simply a physical act. It is a language of trust, attachment, and bonding, spoken silently through gestures, glances, and shared moments. From the earliest stages of life, humans are wired to seek connection, and intimacy fulfills this fundamental need in ways both subtle and profound. At the core of these psychological effects is oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, released during moments of closeness, trust, and orgasm. Oxytocin creates an invisible thread between partners, enhancing empathy, emotional awareness, and cooperation. This chemical messenger strengthens attachments, making relationships more resilient to stress, conflict, and the trials of everyday life. It is through this invisible language of hormones that the mind translates physical intimacy into lasting, emotional connection, attachment. A concept central to psychological science is deeply intertwined with sexual behavior. Individuals who have experienced secure attachment in childhood tend to approach intimacy with openness, trust, and curiosity, seeking genuine connection rather than mere gratification. In contrast, those with insecure attachment may exhibit patterns of avoidance, anxiety, or overdependence, highlighting the profound influence of early experiences on adult relationships. Sex, in this context, becomes a mirror reflecting both past experiences and present desires. The act of intimacy also nurtures emotional resilience. Moments of closeness stimulate the release of endorphins and other neurotransmitters that reduce stress, elevate mood, and foster a sense of security. Couples who engage in regular, healthy sexual activity often report higher satisfaction in their relationships, greater emotional stability, and stronger social bonds. The mind, recognizing these benefits, encourages repetition, reinforcing the behavior that sustains both connection and well-being. Communication, both verbal and nonverbal, is another domain profoundly affected by intimacy. Physical closeness enhances sensitivity to partner cues, increases empathy, and sharpens the ability to perceive emotions accurately. Over time, these experiences cultivate trust, mutual understanding, and emotional intelligence, forming the foundation of deep, enduring partnerships. In this way, sexual behavior is not merely a conduit for pleasure, but a mechanism for emotional growth and relational sophistication. Interestingly, the psychological effects of sex extend to the perception of self. Individuals who experience healthy intimacy often report higher self-esteem, reduced feelings of isolation, and a strengthened sense of identity. The mind interprets closeness and acceptance as affirmation, creating a feedback loop that nurtures confidence, self-worth, and overall psychological well-being. In this sense, intimacy functions as a mirror, reflecting both our desires and our capacity for emotional fulfillment. Sexual behavior also interacts with long-term mental health in profound ways by providing opportunities for emotional expression, connection, and stress relief. Intimacy can act as a natural buffer against anxiety, depression, and social withdrawal. The interplay of desire, attachment, and emotional satisfaction demonstrates that the mind and body are not separate entities, but a continuum in which physical experiences shape psychological outcomes and vice versa. As we continue our journey, it becomes increasingly clear that human sexuality is a symphony of mind and body. Every touch, every embrace, every shared moment resonates with unseen psychological currents, shaping the way we feel, think, and relate. In this light, intimacy is not merely an act, but a cornerstone of human experience, influencing identity, connection, and the intricate dance of relationships that define our lives. In the forthcoming chapters, we will examine the unique psychological differences between men and women, the hidden dynamics of desire, and how cultural and social influences shape behavior. We will explore the mechanisms by which the mind translates physical experience into emotional growth, revealing the profound ways in which intimacy molds not just individual well-being, but the fabric of human connection itself. There is a subtle poetry in human desire, a rhythm that courses through the body and mind alike. When two individuals draw close, it is more than proximity. It is a silent conversation, a language of touch, gaze, and unspoken longing. The anticipation itself sparks a cascade of neural activity, preparing the mind and body for connection, heightening awareness, and amplifying the senses. Every heartbeat, every breath, becomes attuned to the presence of another, creating an intimacy that transcends the physical dot. As the human body responds, hormones orchestrate an intricate symphony. Dopamine, the messenger of anticipation and pleasure, surges with each glance, each gentle touch, each whisper of attention. Oxytocin weaves invisible bonds, deepening trust, creating a sensation of closeness that lingers even in absence. Serotonin adjusts mood, tempering desire with comfort and contentment. This chemical choreography ensures that every act of intimacy carries both immediate gratification and lasting emotional resonance. For men and women, the sensations manifest differently yet complement each other in an intricate dance. The male body responds with heightened sensitivity, energy, and focus, while the female body experiences waves of physiological and emotional awareness, each heartbeat and breath attuned to subtle cues. The interplay of anticipation and fulfillment cultivates a profound awareness of self and partner, merging biology with psychology in a way that is both visceral and transcendent. Romantic touch, even in its simplest forms, carries profound significance. A brush of the hand, a gaze held a moment too long, a whispered word. These small gestures release chemicals that enhance connection, reinforce attraction, and stimulate emotional depth. The mind interprets these signals as meaning, pleasure, and connection, shaping desire into an experience that is intimate, reciprocal, and deeply human, beyond sensation. Intimacy nurtures the mind. Emotional closeness, trust, and vulnerability enhance the perception of pleasure, creating an immersive feedback loop. When two individuals engage in connection, the mind records not only the physical sensations, but the emotional resonance, a memory of shared experience, comfort, and acceptance. This psychological imprint strengthens bonds, fosters empathy, and reinforces the desire to nurture and maintain the relationship. Yet the power of romantic intimacy extends beyond the dyad. The anticipation, the subtlety, the emotional awareness cultivate self-understanding, heighten sensitivity to others, and deepen the capacity for empathy. Individuals who experience healthy, emotionally connected intimacy often demonstrate greater emotional intelligence, improved communication, and a nuanced understanding of desire itself. The romantic dimension of sexual connection also reveals itself in the dance of touch and tension. Anticipation amplifies perception. Closeness heightens sensitivity. Subtle gestures ignite awareness. These phenomena, often unspoken and subconscious, guide behavior and shape perception, creating a rich tapestry of experience that is both physical and psychological. Desire, in this sense, is as much an art as it is a biology, a subtle, evolving interplay of mind, body, and emotion. As the night deepens, the mind and body entwined in subtle rhythms of anticipation, fulfillment, and emotional resonance. Each encounter, whether fleeting or enduring, leaves a mark, a trace of hormones, a memory of connection, a reminder of the profound intimacy humans are capable of. Through this lens, sex emerges not merely as an act, but as a sensory, emotional, and psychological journey, a bridge between minds, a conversation of hearts, and a testament to the deep, enduring need for connection that defines our species. In the next chapters, we will explore the nuanced differences between male and female desire, the psychological intricacies of attraction, and the ways in which these intimate experiences shape relationships, mental health, and emotional resilience. We will uncover how the human body and mind are exquisitely designed to seek, experience, and respond to desire, revealing the subtle, romantic, and profoundly human dimensions of intimacy. Asterisk, as we delve deeper into the intricate landscape of human intimacy, the differences between male and female physiology become strikingly apparent, yet complementary in their design. The human body, shaped by millennia of evolution, responds to desire through unique mechanisms in men and women, each influencing experience, pleasure, and emotional resonance. In men, sexual arousal initiates a cascade of physiological events: increased heart rate, blood flow to reproductive organs, and heightened sensitivity of nerve endings. These responses are closely intertwined with the brain's reward system, which releases dopamine, fostering anticipation and reinforcing the drive toward intimacy. Testosterone plays a pivotal role, influencing libido, energy levels, and the intensity of desire. The male nervous system, wired for rapid response, amplifies the perception of stimulation, connecting physical sensation with psychological anticipation. In women, the physiological experience unfolds in waves, harmonizing sensation, emotion, and anticipation. Estrogen enhances sensitivity and responsiveness, while oxytocin strengthens emotional attachment and trust. The female nervous system processes stimuli with remarkable nuance, integrating tactile sensation, emotional context, and psychological expectation. The experience of desire is often intertwined with relational dynamics, emotional intimacy, and environmental cues, making the interplay between body and mind particularly complex. The mechanics of pleasure reveal the sophistication of these responses. Both sexes experience activation of neural pathways in the brain's limbic system, responsible for emotion, reward, and motivation. Orgasm, a combination of coordinated physiological events, triggers the release of endorphins, prolactin, and oxytocin, producing sensations of euphoria, relaxation, and emotional bonding. While the external manifestations differ, heart rate, muscle tension, and patterns of breathing, the underlying neurochemical processes create profound psychological and physical satisfaction beyond the act itself. The emotional consequences of intimacy reveal remarkable contrasts. Men often report immediate surges of reward-driven satisfaction linked to dopamine peaks, while women frequently experience a more layered psychological response, blending physical pleasure with emotional reassurance, security, and connection. These differences are not rigid, but they highlight the nuanced interplay of biology and psychology that shapes desire. Sexual experience also influences long-term mental health in distinct ways. For men, regular intimate activity supports hormonal balance, mood stabilization, and stress relief, while in women, it strengthens emotional resilience, promotes self-esteem, and reinforces social bonds. Both sexes benefit from improved cardiovascular health, enhanced immune response, and reduced anxiety, demonstrating that sexual activity is a cornerstone of holistic well-being. Interestingly, the anticipation of intimacy itself activates reward circuits in the brain, creating a prelude to experience that is as psychologically significant as the act. Subtle cues, a gaze, a touch, or the shared presence of another, stimulate neural pathways, heighten sensitivity, and foster emotional readiness. In this way, desire is not only a response to stimulation, but a dynamic process in which mind and body co-create experience. Furthermore, these physiological and emotional mechanisms extend into relational dynamics. Men and women, through their differing responses, learn to synchronize, attune, and empathize with one another, enhancing communication, understanding, and mutual satisfaction. Intimacy, therefore, is both a personal experience and a relational dialogue, guided by biology yet enriched by consciousness, empathy, and shared desire. As we continue, it becomes increasingly clear that human sexuality is not a singular event but a continuum, a rhythm of anticipation, sensation, and emotional resonance that engages the mind, body, and heart. The differences between male and female responses are not points of division, but threads in a complex tapestry, weaving together physical pleasure, emotional satisfaction, and psychological growth. In the following chapters, we will explore the broader implications of intimacy on long-term health, emotional resilience, and relationship satisfaction. We will uncover the subtle yet powerful ways in which human desire shapes behavior, nurtures bonds, and reinforces the fundamental need for connection that defines our species. As intimacy deepens over time, its influence extends far beyond the immediate moment of desire, weaving itself into the fabric of long-term relationships. Trust, emotional vulnerability, and consistent connection become the scaffolding upon which human bonds are built. Sex, in this context, is not merely an act of physical pleasure, but a profound mechanism that nurtures closeness, reinforces commitment, and cultivates emotional security. Oxytocin, released during shared intimacy, acts as the glue of emotional bonding. Its effects linger long after physical contact, promoting empathy, attachment, and a sense of safety within the relationship. This chemical messenger encourages cooperation and nurtures the subtle emotional currents that allow two individuals to align, harmonize, and maintain a shared sense of purpose and connection. Trust, a cornerstone of human relationships, is reinforced through repeated intimate experiences. Psychological studies reveal that couples who engage in regular, emotionally connected sexual activity report higher levels of trust, satisfaction, and relational stability. The mind learns to associate closeness with reliability, security, and comfort, creating a feedback loop that strengthens emotional investment over time. Intimacy also fosters vulnerability, the willingness to reveal one's inner thoughts, desires, and fears. In a safe and responsive relationship, vulnerability becomes a pathway to deeper connection. Partners learn to communicate beyond words, interpreting subtle gestures, expressions, and the rhythm of shared experiences. This emotional attunement enriches the relationship, enhancing both psychological resilience and relational satisfaction. Long-term sexual connection influences mental health profoundly. Couples who maintain regular intimacy often experience reduced anxiety, lower stress levels, and improved mood regulation. Shared pleasure and emotional attunement create a sense of mutual support that buffers against life's challenges, highlighting sex as both a personal and relational health mechanism. The dynamics of desire and bonding reveal fascinating subtleties between men and women. While hormonal and neurochemical responses differ, the psychological goals often converge: a need for connection, affirmation, and mutual satisfaction. Understanding these nuances allows partners to navigate intimacy with greater empathy, enhancing communication, emotional attunement, and long-term satisfaction. Psychological intimacy also plays a pivotal role in sustaining attraction over time. Beyond novelty and initial passion, emotional connection becomes a primary driver of desire. Shared experiences, understanding, and trust enhance the anticipation of connection, deepening desire and reinforcing the cycle of intimacy. In essence, attraction evolves, becoming increasingly intertwined with emotional and cognitive dimensions. Furthermore, the social and cultural environment shapes how intimacy is expressed and perceived. Norms, expectations, and learned behaviors influence how individuals approach desire, vulnerability, and connection. Awareness of these influences allows couples to cultivate a relationship rooted in understanding, consent, and mutual growth. The interplay of biological, psychological, and emotional factors illustrates that human sexuality is far more than a momentary act. It is a lifelong journey of connection, understanding, and emotional resonance. Each encounter reinforces trust, nurtures attachment, and contributes to the stability and satisfaction of the partnership. Through intimacy, individuals learn not only about each other, but about themselves, their desires, boundaries, and capacity for empathy. As our exploration continues, we will examine the profound ways in which intimacy shapes identity, emotional well-being, and relationship longevity. We will uncover how desire, attachment, and trust interact over the years, guiding human behavior, deepening connection, and sustaining the bonds that are essential to personal and relational fulfillment. Asterisk, as human relationships mature, the subtle power of intimacy reveals itself in ways that extend far beyond the immediate physical experience. The rhythm of desire, the exchange of touch, and the shared vulnerability foster emotional resilience, shaping the mind to navigate life's challenges with balance and clarity. Intimacy, in its many forms, acts as both a sanctuary and a catalyst, a force that nurtures mental health, reinforces connection, and strengthens the individual within the partnership. Psychological studies have consistently shown that couples who engage in regular, emotionally connected sexual activity experience enhanced mood stability, reduced anxiety, and a greater sense of life satisfaction. The release of endorphins, oxytocin, and dopamine during intimacy is not fleeting. These chemical messengers influence long-term mental well-being, creating neural pathways associated with pleasure, security, and emotional trust. In this way, desire becomes intertwined with psychological health, providing benefits that resonate far beyond the bedroom. The subtle art of romantic intimacy also reinforces communication, empathy, and understanding. Through shared moments of closeness, partners learn to interpret unspoken signals, to anticipate needs, and to respond with sensitivity. This ongoing exchange cultivates emotional intelligence, teaching individuals to navigate complex social and relational dynamics. Desire, anticipation, and shared pleasure converge to create a language that transcends words, forming the foundation of enduring trust and connection. Long-term benefits of intimacy manifest in both men and women, albeit in nuanced ways. For men, regular sexual activity contributes to hormonal balance, cardiovascular health, and reduced stress, supporting both physical and emotional resilience. For women, intimacy enhances emotional regulation, self-esteem, and overall well-being, while also fostering deep social and relational bonds. Together, these effects illustrate that the human body and mind are not separate entities, but a dynamic system designed for connection, pleasure, and growth. Romantic psychology reveals another layer of complexity. Anticipation, subtle gestures, and emotional attunement amplify desire, creating an immersive experience that engages mind and body alike. The interplay of excitement, curiosity, and emotional safety nurtures a sense of fulfillment that goes beyond physical satisfaction, transforming intimacy into an experience of profound psychological depth beyond individual benefit. Long-term sexual intimacy strengthens relationships by reinforcing commitment, enhancing mutual understanding, and creating a shared history of emotional and physical connection. Couples develop patterns of responsiveness, empathy, and support that buffer against life's uncertainties, fostering stability and resilience. The act of intimacy becomes a living dialogue, a continuous negotiation of trust, care, and mutual satisfaction. Furthermore, the mind encodes intimate experiences as memories that guide future behavior, shaping preferences, expectations, and emotional responses. Positive experiences cultivate desire, deepen trust, and reinforce patterns of attachment, while emotional attunement during these moments builds relational intelligence. In this way, sex is not a momentary event, but a lifelong teacher, guiding the development of empathy, understanding, and psychological growth. As we continue, the interplay between romantic desire, emotional resilience, and long-term well-being becomes increasingly evident. Intimacy emerges as both a protective mechanism and a source of enrichment, highlighting the profound ways in which human sexuality shapes identity, strengthens relationships, and sustains the emotional equilibrium necessary for thriving as individuals and as partners. Through this lens, desire is revealed not only as a biological imperative, but as a journey of psychological depth and enduring human connection. Human desire does not exist in isolation. Beyond the biology of the body and the psychology of the mind, it is deeply influenced by the society in which we live, the culture that surrounds us, and the narratives we inherit from generations past. The ways in which sex is perceived, discussed, and experienced are shaped by norms, traditions, and collective beliefs, often creating patterns of expectation that guide behavior as strongly as biology itself. From ancient rituals to modern media, societal influence has always intertwined with human sexuality. Stories, taboos, and customs dictate what is acceptable, desirable, or forbidden, and these external pressures subtly shape desire, intimacy, and connection. Cultural narratives create a lens through which individuals interpret attraction, trust, and pleasure, often blending myth with reality in ways that influence both conscious and subconscious choices. Psychology offers tools to disentangle these influences. Myths and misconceptions about desire, performance, and sexual behavior can generate anxiety, affect self-esteem, and distort expectations. Awareness of these societal pressures allows individuals to navigate intimacy with clarity, understanding, and agency. Desire, it becomes evident, is not merely instinctive but also learned, interpreted, and refined through experience and reflection, even within societies. Gendered expectations shape how men and women experience and express intimacy. Men may be conditioned to prioritize performance and dominance, while women may encounter pressures around modesty, attraction, and emotional connection. These influences interact with innate physiology and psychology, creating a complex landscape in which desire, behavior, and satisfaction are negotiated across cultures. Myths persist that desire is always visual, that pleasure has rigid formulas, or that emotional connection is separate from physical experience. Science, however, tells a different story. Attraction is multifaceted, pleasure is shaped by context and cognition, and emotional intimacy is inextricably linked with physiological response. Understanding these truths empowers individuals to experience intimacy more fully, with awareness, consent, and satisfaction. Societal influence also extends to relationship structures. From the expectations of monogamy to the narratives around casual intimacy, the psychological effects of these frameworks are profound, shaping attachment styles, emotional responses, and even the perception of desire itself. By examining these influences, we see that sexuality is both a personal journey and a reflection of collective understanding, a dance between biology, psychology, and culture. Education, communication, and reflection provide pathways to navigate these complexities. By understanding the myths we inherit and the realities science reveals, individuals can cultivate healthier, more fulfilling experiences of intimacy. Psychological insight guides behavior, informs choice, and nurtures empathy, enabling individuals to reconcile cultural narratives with personal desire, and to develop relationships that are both satisfying and sustainable. As we approach the final stages of our exploration, it becomes increasingly clear that human sexuality is shaped by an intricate network of forces: biological, psychological, and cultural. Each layer contributes to the richness of desire, the depth of connection, and the sustainability of relationships. Recognizing these influences allows us to experience intimacy with awareness, respect, and profound understanding, illuminating the hidden mechanisms that guide one of humanity's most essential drives. In our concluding chapter, we will synthesize the insights gained throughout this journey, exploring the ultimate significance of sex, the integrated benefits for mind and body, and the ways in which desire, connection, and intimacy define the human experience in its most profound sense. Asterisk. As we reach the culmination of our exploration into human intimacy, the significance of sex reveals itself as far more than a physical act. It is a profound interplay between mind and body, biology and psychology, desire and connection. From the spark of attraction to the moments of closeness that define relationships, sex serves as a bridge, linking emotion, cognition, and physiology in ways that shape our very experience of life. The human body responds to intimacy with remarkable coordination. Hormones surge, neural pathways activate, and physiological systems align to create both pleasure and emotional resonance. Oxytocin and dopamine reinforce attachment and reward. Endorphins relieve stress, and the cardiovascular system experiences beneficial stimulation. Even subtle physical cues, such as the warmth of a partner's embrace, the gentle press of hands, or the closeness of the chest, engage the senses, sending signals of trust, safety, and connection. In women, the breasts are not only biologically significant as organs of nourishment, but also as sites of sensory awareness and emotional bonding. Gentle touch and nurturing gestures stimulate the release of hormones that enhance attachment and comfort, reinforcing intimacy. Kissing, too, functions as more than a romantic gesture. It is a biologically rooted behavior that communicates trust, desire, and mutual affection. The mind interprets these cues as signals of closeness, deepening emotional engagement and satisfaction. The ultimate significance of sex lies in its integrative power. It harmonizes physical pleasure with emotional depth, aligning the mind, heart, and body. Desire is translated into connection, sensation into fulfillment, and intimacy into resilience. The feedback loop between body and mind strengthens bonds, fosters psychological well-being, and enhances life satisfaction. In this sense, sex is not merely a transient activity, but a vital mechanism for long-term mental and emotional health. Relationships that cultivate this form of intimacy, where desire is balanced with trust, pleasure with emotional resonance, are more likely to thrive. Couples experience enhanced communication, greater empathy, and a profound sense of partnership. Emotional and physical satisfaction reinforce one another, creating a cycle of connection that endures across the years. Here, intimacy becomes a journey, a shared exploration of pleasure, attachment, and mutual growth. Long-term fulfillment is found not only in moments of passion, but in the subtle, ongoing expressions of care and connection. A tender embrace, a shared laugh, the quiet comfort of closeness. These moments, small yet profound, stimulate the mind, nourish the body, and cultivate enduring emotional bonds. Through this lens, the act of intimacy becomes a vital thread in the fabric of human experience, supporting health, happiness, and the continuity of relationships. As we reflect on the journey of human sexuality, it is clear that desire, attraction, and intimacy are far more than instincts. They are the manifestation of a sophisticated biological design, a psychological narrative, and a social interplay that has evolved over millennia. Sex integrates mind and body, momentary pleasure with long-term well-being, and individual desire with shared connection. It is both a natural necessity and a profound expression of human experience. In the end, understanding sex in its full scope, biological, psychological, and relational, allows us to appreciate the extraordinary complexity of human intimacy. It illuminates why we seek connection, why pleasure matters, and why the bonds we forge through touch, affection, and closeness are among the most essential elements of life. Sex is, at its core, a journey of the mind, the body, and the heart, a force that shapes our health, our happiness, and our humanity, asterisk, from the first spark of attraction to the profound intimacy that shapes our lives. We have journeyed through the intricate tapestry of human desire, mind, and body. Sex, as we have discovered, is far more than an act. It is a symphony of biology, psychology, and emotion, a force that binds us to each other and to ourselves. We explored how desire arises in the brain, guided by hormones and neural pathways, how intimacy nurtures emotional bonds, strengthens relationships, and promotes long-term health. We saw how anticipation, touch, and subtle gestures shape connection, and how the mind and body harmonize to create moments of fulfillment, trust, and love through every stage, from attraction to long-term bonding, from pleasure to emotional resonance. Human sexuality reveals itself as a cornerstone of life, essential not just for reproduction, but for psychological well-being, relational depth, and the richness of shared experience. It is the silent language that communicates trust, the invisible thread that weaves hearts together, and the force that nurtures resilience, empathy, and connection. As you reflect on this journey, remember that intimacy is not only about the moment, but also about the connection it leaves behind, a lasting imprint on the mind, body, and spirit. Understanding its science allows us to approach desire, affection, and relationships with curiosity, respect, and wonder. Here, at the Wonder Lab, we celebrate the extraordinary complexity of human experience, the unseen forces that guide attraction, the chemistry that fuels intimacy, and the profound significance of connection. Every heartbeat, every shared glance, every moment of closeness tells a story of life itself, a story that is both universal and uniquely personal. Thank you for joining us on this remarkable exploration. Until our next journey into the mysteries of the world around us, stay curious, stay inspired, and continue to wonder.